DreamHack ASTRO Open is brought to you by ASTRO, Monster Energy, Corsair, Zowie, and Intel.
Welcome back to the DreamHack ASTRO Open here in Denver, Colorado, which joined the Union as the 38th state in 1876. It's America's 8th largest state in terms of landmass, located in the Rocky Mountain region of the western United States. The state's abundant and varied natural resources attracted the ancient Pueblo peoples and later the Plains Native Americans. My name is Trey Sorrenthes, and I'm here on the desk with you all weekend. That's right, we had a banger of a day yesterday, but none of it would have been possible without our sponsors at ASTRO, Monster Energy, Zowie, Corsair, and Intel. And of course, these gentlemen to my left, my co-host here on the desk. We've got James Hayes-Cobb, Dustin Moret. Guys, welcome back for day 2. It's Elimination Day. How are we feeling?
I'm feeling good. I got pretty decent amount of rest. How about you?
Yeah, I'm feeling pretty good. Ready to go. Ready to get these matches underway.
Yeah, I mean, a decent amount of rest, a good thing. A decent amount of matches, an even better thing. Guys, it is Elimination Day. We've got 4 best of 3s. We will be sending some teams home today, and we will be sending some other teams on to the semifinals. That's right, a very important day here at the DreamHack ASTRO Open in Denver. But without any further ado, I say we take a look at just exactly what happened yesterday in day 1.
For facing Big, who don't have any sledges on their team whatsoever.
Keeve is going to be ready to fight. This is his stairway. You're not going to get past it. 3 quick kills for him on the pistol. And it brings... As that melee just goes right into the dirt, not where he wanted it to. Wanted to burn this player out behind the bomb train, although he gets that kill. The shot from before should have given a good idea as to where Azur's playing from. And he has Azur lows. This is a very winnable 1v1, and he'll do it.
All alone, 1v3, sitting here by Rocky. He hasn't been spotted yet, takes the first one, goes for that second one as well. And now it's just come the remaining. Azur is going to make the play, the hero play, the 1v3. Props goes down, it's all on Chris J. Once again, 1v2. Here's the defuse, first one goes down, second one, and Chris J doubles up. Skadoogle on the corner here. Now they're going to push through, first shot goes in. Skadoogle on point, he gets a double as well, as he takes down 2 Brazilians with 1 bullet.
And they're not sitting back to watch this. Oh, someone's going to run past him. Will he see it? No, he won't.
He turned around.
He's going to be able to defuse. Oh, he's going to be able to defuse now. No?
He's got the kit, and they think he has enough room. They're going to be running back. Christian, he's in the back of the site. He did it! The absolute ninja for Nex!
And if that doesn't really paint a picture for you at home, I just don't even know how to do it better for you. There's just not a way to do it, is what I'm trying to say. Either way, a great day of matches, and ultimately some teams coming out a little bit flat, for lack of better words.
Yeah, there was a lot of one-sided matches yesterday, and we had one big upset yesterday as well, right? Of course, Big moving on straight to semifinals. Mousesports having the battle out in the lower bracket, which was definitely not the expectation.
Well, when you want to talk about groups and brackets, we should probably go ahead and take a look at Group A real quick. Cloud9 taking an early W over Tempo Storm yesterday morning, 16-4. Followed by a really close bout there in the Renegades CLG's matchup, which, you know, ultimately Cloud9 advances out of the groups after beating them 16-1. Several knives in that match. An actual just show of force there by Cloud9. I believe it was on Train.
Yeah.
It just a work done there. Let's take a look at Group B and see how this one's breaking down. 16-4 early on in the day for Mousesports. And as the story's told, they would go on to face Big. A lot of people expecting that one to be the match of the day. Didn't really turn out to be as close or even with the winner that I think anyone expected.
Yeah, and I think the biggest surprise of the group was Big beating Mousesports there. You know, even on a map like Train, I expected Mousesports. I feel like that's a very good map for skilled aimers, and for some reason, Mousesports fell apart.
Well, that does put Cloud9 and Big onto the playoff bracket, which will be starting off tomorrow. But we can't have a playoff bracket without some contenders, and that's what we're here to decide today. But to do that, we need to go ahead and introduce just everybody around here. Let's go ahead and bring in Paula, who's on the stage, probably dancing a jig or something. I saw earlier was hanging out with alpacas. There it is. There it is. Hit him with the dab, Paula.
I don't know if I've got a dab for you right now, but I do have an air horn. We have a live DJ in the back. We've got our crowd forming. I'm feeling good.
Yeah. So yesterday, tell me a little bit about the energy up there on the stage.
Well, the layout here is actually quite different because the crowd is kind of above me. Usually the crowd is below, and so it's kind of like a Colosseum vibe. I'm getting a gladiatorial vibe. I really like it, and yeah, the guys were getting very loud yesterday, so shout out to all of you that are coming in and getting ready for the day.
Now, Paula, of all the gladiators you talked to yesterday, who was the one that really left the mark on you?
I think yesterday it's got to be God B. You know, they had two pretty exciting games, and he's pretty steadfast in the way he talks about Counter-Strike, the way he approaches the game. It's always a pleasure to talk to him.
Well, outstanding. Paula, we look forward to hearing from you a little bit later on today as we get into our matches. But right now, it's time to set up the stage for what will be the first match. It's going to be Tempo Storm versus Counterlogic Gaming. Guys, what are we looking at?
Yeah, I think Tempo Storm, we saw a brief glimpse of what they're capable of. We didn't get to see enough, though, so it's hard for me to give a lot of hope to these guys. But hopefully they studied really well, and they're going to have to play the pick ban process, and I think in a unique way. I don't think they can be straightforward and expect to beat CLG straight up.
Yeah, again, I think Tempo Storm's in an uphill battle here. Not as steep as the one against Cloud9, but it is true that in online play, they even struggle against, you know, Mountain Dew League level teams, or even, you know, pro teams that are more towards the bottom of the rankings, you know, when they're getting beat by teams like Rogue and Mythic and some of these online qualifiers. And now you're in the LAN environment, you're playing against a CLG team who has been kind of coming out of a slump, and I think been performing a little bit better lately in online play at least. And so, as you noted, they're going to, you know, have to really kind of think things through. And I think they just need to play their game today. I think yesterday they were way too timid. They never really got their playbook going. And so today that can't happen.
Yeah, and I think tactically, you know, we expected more from them. They got maybe 1 or 2 rounds off of some nice tactics. But it really, I think what it boiled down to was, I don't think many of their players showed up. We need more from SHZ or Shiz. I'm not really sure how to pronounce it. I think it's Shiz, though.
Yeah.
I think we need, he's an up and down player. Sometimes you'll get, you know, 10 or less frags, and sometimes you'll get 30. This guy's up and down. We need to see something big from him. Landon's their consistent opper, and I guess you could say star, but I don't think he's at a star level. But overall, we're just going to need more from all the players on that team.
I mean, a slight bit of inconsistency you're saying there. And ultimately, this team coming into this tournament largely unknown, for lack of better words. But going up against CLG today, seemingly a little bit easier of a matchup than Cloud9?
Well, yeah, definitely. I mean, Cloud9's on a heater. As we talked about yesterday, they've had a pretty nice run of form, especially at E-League, taking out G2 and having a decent game against Astralis. So the CLG hasn't really compared to that.
Right.
They've been struggling a lot more. I mean, they're doing nice in EPL, but their recent LAN performances haven't been nearly as good.
Right. Well, let's take a look at CLG right now. James, I mean, you're pretty familiar with these guys. You're pretty familiar with this brand. What should we know about Counterlogic Gaming going into today?
Well, we're going to need to see more from Ricky. Yesterday, he wasn't, I'm not going to say he wasn't there, but it's not the level you expect to see from Ricky. I think Kusta was playing pretty well. It looked like tactically they were on point. So Finesse is doing a good job leading. And, you know, I think for me, the person to look at today would be Ricky.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's fair enough. I think that they obviously played a close game against Renegades yesterday. They were off to a slow start, but they fought their way back into that game. I think they're fighting their way back in general within the NA scene. Obviously had their struggles earlier in their year, getting knocked out of some different tournaments by Mountain Dew League teams like Rise Nation and Broken Alliance, but they're starting to look hot in EPL, I think, as you noted. And, you know, they need to just match it up on LAN now, right? Obviously, Valencia was a really big disappointment for them. That big, embarrassing kind of group stage exit on the whole Diffuse situation with Kusta.
The Diffuse thing was just a little wild.
And I think Montreal was kind of neutral for them, right? Like, they didn't really gain any ground, but I mean, they got 0-2'd by an Immortals team that was still very strong at that point in time with their previous lineup. So you can't really knock them too hard for that one. But this is the LAN where there's a lot of room for them to grow and to kind of show that that isn't the team that they are, that they can kind of work their way up the rankings. And this is a team that they're playing against, they should have no problem getting resolved on.
Some might even say that they almost lost a man in Montreal. But that's what some might say. That's not what I'm going to say. Either way, let's take a look at the vetoes because we got to see where this one falls on. It is a best of 3. Again, these are elimination matches. So at the conclusion of each match today, someone will be advancing and someone will be going home as their second loss in the tournaments. And now the vetoes are flying in. Guys, where are we seeing this one land?
I think CLG will ban Nuke as they usually do, but there's also a chance they might ban Inferno. So there's the Nuke ban we were talking about. As far as Tempo Storm Brazil, I expect a Mirage ban here. They really don't play Mirage online at all, and so I would expect that to be gone. As far as what CLG picks, that's the real curious one. I think that a lot of the time that they've been pretty comfortable playing Cash. I think it's a map that they're usually pretty comfortable playing. They can also play a couple others. Any thoughts on the pick for you?
Yeah, and it's kind of up and down for me. If I had to point to a map, I know they like Cobble, even though they lost yesterday. They did show a resurgence towards the end, a nice comeback. I feel like
Inferno.
Wow,
okay.
that is the most unexpected
I mean,
curveball pick I have ever seen.
I mean, they've been hot garbage on Inferno.
Yeah.
I mean, that's been like, besides Nuke, which is their permaban, Inferno's been some of the worst results that they've had. I know they've been trying to work on it a lot in boot camps. I know I've seen them change so much on Inferno since their boot camp before Montreal to now, like switching up CT positions, trying to add new strats. So maybe they finally have figured out a formula for it. We are going to see Tempo Storm go for that Cobblestone pick. So that will be their choosing.
Yeah, so Inferno, Cobble are going to be our first two maps. And again, you know, this is a best of three. Knife decides the sides. So, you know, coming into this, there's not an advantage, so to say.
Yeah, I mean, usually when you're the better team, you don't really want to do curveball picks like what CLG did. You want to stick to your bread and butter.
Yeah, this is so weird, man.
Because you're trusting yourself to win on your best maps.
I mean,
and that's just really strange.
Think of it this way. Like, the first map is picked by CLG Inferno, a map they've been notoriously pretty poor on. And then Cobblestone's a pick from Tempo Storm that CLG's lost the last 4 times they've played it offline. So those are some interesting first two maps that I think kind of cracked the door open a little bit for Tempo Storm.
Well, I'm going to encourage you, the viewer at home, to get involved in the chat. That's right. It's time to put your keyboards to work. Exclamation point Tempo, exclamation point CLG. Get your vote in right now. We're going to be reviewing these throughout the day and, well, I guess specifically during this matchup itself. But, guys, you can't not give the advantage or the edge here to CLG.
Well, I don't know.
Minus the map situation, because
yeah.
no one really knows what's going on with that. But
CLG is clearly the better team, but this map veto has really got me questioning. I mean, obviously CLG came here with a game plan. They're not going to pick Inferno without doing some kind of studying, and I think the same goes for Tempo Storm picking Cobble. They probably watched that Renegades demo, and they probably have something planned and saw the tendencies. So I feel like this veto is actually really good for Tempo. I don't know that they can even win still, but I think this is going to be a lot closer than I think what we originally expected.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I think Tempo Storm did, at least against Cloud9 on their T side, show that they did have some pretty close execution. They won a couple of rounds off the back of some of this like really good flash coordination over on that A-bomb site. And again, CLG's had their struggles in this map. They've been, you know, rearranging how they play their CT side. Maybe people aren't quite settled into their new positions just yet on how they want to play them. So maybe there is a little bit of an opening there, actually. And then, like I said, Cobblestone, CLG's had their struggles lately on offline, excuse me. So that there's a little bit of breathing room for Tempo Storm to maybe find one of those two maps.
Okay, guys, well, now you kind of have to put your money where your mouth is, right? So I have to get predictions from you. I have to actively extract the prediction from you. And with that being said, over the entire BO3.
This isn't good.
You did it to yourself.
You know, even with the maps, I still think CLG's the better team, so I'm going to go with 2-1 CLG, but I think it'll be close.
Yeah, I'll go 2-1 CLG as well. I think Tempo Storm will slip in one of these first two maps, but I think like CLG will have the third.
I think you guys are onto something, but I'm just going to go with a hard 2-0.
All right.
Wow. Have you seen CLG's Inferno?
CLG. I almost said Tempo Storm there.
Have you seen their Inferno?
Listen, man, they've got a couple tricks up their sleeves. They have to, right? Because otherwise, there is no method to the madness in those bands, right?
I've been down this road before, okay? It doesn't work very often.
Well, we're going to go ahead and bring our commentators into the fold now. We got Blue and Risk. Guys, did you have a great... Excuse me, not Blue. That would be DeBears.
Yeah.
Wow.
Big mistake. You know what,
It's okay,
Eric,
it happens.
I owe you the world. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
You know, I'll get you back later. I appreciate it, Trace.
No problem. Guys, are you ready to jump into